You start.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another time back to RSC EU Season 6. We are in the post-season and we are in the major playoffs. We've got a brilliant matchup for you coming up in the lower final between the Otakus and Android number 16. Android have been on a tear so far. They've truly come alive in the post-season. After only being able to clinch 5th spot throughout league play, the highest they ever achieved, they've now pushed all the way to the lower final to face an Otakus that didn't do quite as well as you might have expected against a Rhapsody team that also played quite well in their upper bracket. They have made it to the grand final as well. But of course, myself, Vector, back in the booth, casting alongside me, joining us for the first time tonight, Marbs.
It's a pleasure to be here. It is my first time casting an RSC playoff game, and I'm super excited. I know these two teams. I've actually seen them play a while ago when I first joined. I think Otaku's had the upper hand, but there've been a couple roster changes for Android 16. I think done by Fane, he's quite a great GM. I think these roster changes really benefited him, as we see Android 16 now in the lower finals of the playoffs. The winner here will be in the grand finals. Both teams I know are very fierce and highly competitive, and I'm just really excited to get this one going.
As am I. I mean, I talked about it in the very first series that I casted over with Flip Reset and Rhapsody. Rhapsody taking that in a 5-game set. That Major is so unpredictable. It's so hard to tell just what is gonna play out on the field. I mean, this is Elimination Rocket League. This is completely different to league play. We can actually get draws in a series, and I don't believe that anybody's predictions on the challenge brackets actually came true after those 4 series that we saw happen. Blaze were kicked out very, very quickly in the game 5 against Otakus, who are now on the field against Android, who took Blaze out of the lowers in a 3-1 win there. Just looking at how this has been going, do you think that Android has the ability to take this all the way, to do the Cinderella story? They will have to go through a best of 7 bracket reset. That is, at the very minimum, if I can do my maths correctly, 8 games that they would have to win on the bounce just to be a strong Rhapsody side from the looks of the results so far.
Oh, we've seen Android 16 be on an absolute tear, but the opponents that they're going to be facing are going to get harder and harder. And I feel like if Android are able to tear through Otakus as they did with the previous teams, I think it should be no sweat for a bracket reset. But if Otakus manages to kind of stop their absolute crazy run through the playoffs, then I think Android might be in a bit of a pickle here. It's really hard to get the momentum back after it's lost, after you face a tough opponent. It really does pay a toll on you, and I know I have some experience with that.
I mean, we've seen the team stats for both of these teams up on the screen before. I think I want to bring up the player stats, actually, and just take a look at some of the outliers in these teams. I mean, because of how they've come through with this, I mean, the players that are on the Android side, Kebabs, Badger, Kevin, Moggy. Kebabs is a player that we know can play all the way up in elite. He is such a great player. He is such a strong pick for this Android side, and we've clearly seen it. They've swept out a series already against a forlorn, I believe that was Flip Reset side, who previously swept out 6th place Saturnia. And yeah, looking at these stats, it feels like it's going to be probably a high-scoring game, as we might expect from Android. It could be a kind of a nervy one, though, a cagey affair where both these teams, especially in the first 2 games, try and figure each other out. It is still a best of 5, but we'll only see best of 7 in the grand final. So it will be about which team can warm up the quickest, figure out what it is that they need to do to beat one another the quickest. And I'm looking forward to it. I think potentially it could go to a game 5. I mean, I don't think Otakus have been nearly as strong as Android have looked so far, but that is my prediction for this, and I'm curious to know how you think this one might play out as well, Mobs.
Well, we have some teams. I feel like some players on the Otakus have been a bit more OG, I guess, than Android 16. I know Stenos and Jum Hunter, I think I've always seen him in RC Cast getting those goals of the week or player of the week. He's always getting MVPs as well. He's a very clinical shooter as well, and that's something the Android will really have to be looking out for. But Android 16, I think it's a slightly more new roster, and maybe the stats don't really
And
reflect
already
that.
might have to interrupt you
Oh
there,
my.
Maz, as we have the first goal of the lower final coming from Kevin. A great play from Badger to keep this one alive. Drum kind of panics to jump and try and keep this one away, but puts it just under his own crossbar. A quick start for Android. So what we were expected to see from them, they've tore through the lower bracket, just like it wasn't even there, like it was wet paper. And they were looking to do the same against an Otaku side that only just managed to get into the upper final, and then got taken down by Rhapsody side. And in a pretty close series, it wasn't nearly as one-sided as it might have appeared, just based on the scoreline. But a quick start for Android.
Android 16 did not even want me to finish my sentence talking about the Otakus. They have been already showing their dominance here, and especially scoring a goal super early in the game as there's another shot coming off by Kebabs. It really shows that they're ready, because I feel like most game ones are usually really quiet as both teams always try to kill each other out. But Android 16, well done for them to going straight into it, and this looks like it's going to be a very tough game for Otakus. But we're only 1 minute in, Vector.
Only 1 minute indeed. There are so many more minutes to play. Potentially 5 times 5, that makes 25 minutes at the minimum if we get to game 5. This is played out to Kebabs, already in the middle waiting for this, but Stinos plays well, gets it off the back ball, but straight back to Kevin, who plays a pass out to Badger, who wasn't quite in position. Didn't expect to read that. Drum Hunter goes up, he's got boost, he gets beaten out by Kebabs, but they both miss, as this is just 50 back off of Drum Hunter. Mickey tries to keep this one alive. Doesn't really work all that well. The momentum is gone as Badger kicks it back across the field for Kevin to do something with it. But lackluster defense as Mickey Boy puts this to the left-hand post. That's just gone wanting. That was over both Android defenders. They had nothing to do with that. If that was in, that was even game right there. And like we expected possibly from game one, it was going to be a cagey affair where they tried to figure out what each other were trying to do. But Android's not playing nearly as quickly as we might have thought.
Shots coming off from Android are really giving Otakus a really nice glimpse of what they can be like. I think we haven't even seen the peaks of either of these teams, but Android already 5 shots as we enter halftime. I know that a lot of the Otakus players like Stinos, Jump Hunter, and Mickey Boy, they're quite individually talented. I've seen them do very well in other games in like 6-mans, but I've never seen them as a team together. And Android have already shown that their team plays and passing plays can be really clinical, but we have not seen much from the Otakus yet. We've only seen a lot of defense from them. Hopefully they're able to push back and get some nice attacks going before the end of the match.
As another minute goes by, we haven't seen many offensive chances from either side. Android has had 5 shots to Otaku's 1. Another chance for them here. This is flowing free. If Drum could have got a touch out to Mickey Boy, might have seen something develop there, but it's straight back up the field. Kevin with a straight shot. Drum Hunter has to deal with this. It's off the right hand side. Can Kevin get back to it? He does, as Drum misses off the right hand side of the post. An easy one for Android to put away. Kevin gets his second and a 2-goal lead with about 2 minutes left on the clock. They're controlling this game very, very well, just like we thought they would.
A very comedic play by Kebabs, I think, bumping whoever the Dominus was in the corner, not letting him get back, allowing a 2v2 to happen, and then Android 16 getting on top and benefiting from that funny play by Kebabs. He's a very, very talented player, and I think he's so confident he's able to do kind of funny plays like that. So it really shows the offensive prowess that, and also their confidence of already being 2 goals up. They really think they're going to take it all the way, and Otaku's really got to step up if they're going to be able to deny them.
They certainly are. I mean, sometimes that casual mindset can be crucial. Playing too professionally, too serious, can kind of limit you, make you stiff, make you not as creative on the field as Android have been so far. Kebabs tries to create something more here. Badger with a free shot, takes a double commit to clear this one out, but it pinches back across. Stinos tries to get it to Mickey. It's not quite there. Drum goes up, but Stinos does the second touch. Mickey with a free shot as no one committed. But straight onto Badger on the back, but tries to control it. A demo on Kebabs leaves that open, but Stinos misses this going off the back. Kevin almost gets to this. Mickey misses the touch. This offense is still alive. Another shot from Kevin, but Drum is just in time to save it. The offense is still there, however, the pressure from Android is almost just uncontainable for the Otakus, as they can't quite seem to get anything of their own started on the other side of the field. It just is like a bunch of corner reads, 1 or 2 touches, and then nothing more.
I want to point out that Kebabs is, you might consider him a really good player, but he hasn't really been used, as he had 0 shots, 0 goals, no assists or saves either. It's been Kevin, I think, running the show, getting both the goals for Android 16. As this game goes to an end, a very, very unexpected, I would say, result for the Android 16. The Otakus, having beat Android 16 earlier in the season, must have thought that it must have been would have come out to a similar outcome. But I haven't really seen Drum Hunter, Mickey Boy, or Stinos perform as they had earlier in the season. I feel like they're just a bit shocked, and that's really not a good thing to happen, especially in the lower finals.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was entirely unexpected. The run that Android have been on, the form they are in right now, is unbelievable. It's terrifying for some teams. I'm sure Otakus were aware of that run coming into this series, and it may have intimidated them a little bit. But I've said it before in the playoffs earlier that this is different Rocket League. This is elimination Rocket League. If you lose, you're out. That's it. It's do or die. And that seeps into the back of your mind, that gets under your skin. It definitely does, whether you want it to or not. It's a subconscious thing. And players that can't deal with that can't handle that, get over it and just accept that it's going to be part of your game and affect how you play, fall to teams like this. I mean, I keep banging on the door saying that Major's unpredictable. We can't figure out what exactly is going to happen. Android doesn't care. They're writing the script right now, and it wasn't quite as convincing a win as we might have hoped from such a strong Android side. That may have been just first game jitters or whatever it was, trying to figure out their opponent. But I'm pretty sure as the game goes on and as the series goes on, they'll start scoring a lot more when they figure out the gaps and widen those gaps in the Otaku's defense.
But like Otakus might have to be stepping up. I definitely expect a bit more riskier plays and a bit more smoother attacks coming out from them, because that's the only way they're going to be able to go. As Drum Hunter gets a shot, I think the passing plays will be eminent for the Otakus, because they really need to be getting some attacks out, because Android 16 were just so dominant last game. I really didn't see enough Otakus. None of us did, and I really expect them to be pulling any tricks they can out of the hat in order to get a win and maybe slow down this absolute unstoppable machine known as Android number 16. Rhyming schemes, let's go.
Rhyming schemes are fun, but it's more fun to be winning a series as Android are doing right now. I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, Otaku's only got 1 shot on target in the last series, in the last game even, and they've already beaten that record as 2. Another third goes in off of Mickey Boy. All 3 players on Otakus have had a shot, but Mickey's was the only one that went in as a breakdown in the Android rotation. I think that was Badger that just about missed in the midfield. Opens this one up, and they take their first lead of the series in Game 2.
Fortunately, I think Android 16 were just a bit too confident having a lot of players up and not really expecting an attack like that from Mickey Boy to end up in their nets. This might have to be a small wake-up call that you are playing a team that is in the lower finals. You are playing a team that made it quite far through the lower bracket, even though that they lost a game first. It's not like it's a walk in the park at all. And hopefully we can see more of those goals. Maybe a bit nicer from the Otakus, but surely just we need to see them scoring. I would love to have a very close Game 5.
Not in a walk in the park at all. It's essentially a sprint through hell at this point for any team having to face Android. As Kevin goes for another chance here, just wide, but the effort is there. Kevin comes off the wall, puts it down to Badger, who's already there. Kind of plays this back to his own teammate Babs, who goes up, has control, has boost, gets it over one. Stinos is up, as well as Kevin doesn't manage to beat out the last defender. Stinos does well to keep his team up in this one. Kevin tries to get a play off the bad ball, but Stinos is already there. Good defense from Otakus so far. Seemed to be figuring out what went wrong in Game 1, where the defense was concerned. A lot of bad ball touches that were going to the wayside and figuring out that they need to manage their boost in order to beat this this high flying Android side. And do you think there's anything specific that Android aren't doing that they were doing so well in game one that's meaning they're not being able to control the midfield as much this time?
I feel like Android are doing the absolute almost best they can. I think they're just been a bit too confident, and now that Otakus have stepped up, causing Android not being able to get any goals past the net and past the Otakus defense. Saves are coming out, shots are coming out by the Otakus. It's quite even at the moment, I think. And if I was Otakus, I would think just you would eventually get another one and secure this goal. But they're being quite solid in defense as Mickey Boy gets a very clutch save there. Vector, what are you predicting that's going to happen in the next 2 minutes or so?
I mean, I imagine someone's going to win the game. I definitely think there's going to be another goal. I mean, all it takes is one. Otakus know that. They don't need to score another. They could play smart, confident, controlled Rocket League in the defense and the midfield, but they'll definitely want to get a second goal to solidify this lead. No one wants to be teetering on the edge of a potential overtime, especially against Android. But it was a brilliant point that you brought up, that complacency can be a killer. It's what got Android this far. Teams above them, or supposedly supposed to be better than them, getting complacent, thinking that they had it in the bag. Another one almost goes in, but Mickey Boy just in the right place to take that off the goal line and keep his team in game two. The defense has been much, much stronger from Otakus, and I mean, I hope they can keep it up as Badger gets his demo on the last man. Is Mickey back in time? He's not. Kebabs is there, and finally something works for Android. The disruption play, taking out that last defender, has put them straight back into this game.
Badger unleashing the secret weapon of Android 16. The demos, very, very special play. I have a special spot in my heart for demos. Anyone who's played you would probably know that, but that's a very nice trick to pull out by Android 16. I feel like that momentum and might actually teeter the odds into their favor. I felt like whoever would score the next goal might be the team to win, but you have 30 seconds left. Overtime might be imminent, but both shots are going to be both teams will be risking a lot of shots try to get one into the back of the net. It is a very close game, Vector. Who do you think is going to be taking this one?
Based on form, I have to go with Android, but it's been so close. The defense has not been nearly good enough for them. As this one's rolling towards the net, as Kevin tries to get something up, but a dunk by Mickey Boy puts this to 2-1 with 6 seconds left to go. I feel like this has to tie the series.
Oh, Kevin, if he was just taking his time. Unfortunately, Mickey Boy said, no, you're not going to be taking your time at all. I'm just going to dunk you. Well done by Mickey Boy to see what was going to happen and anticipating the play. But there's one more attack, but that will be cleared by Drum Hunter, and I feel like this might be the momentum changer for Otakus.
Kebabs is there, can he follow it up, Mickey? Just about managed to keep this off the line, but this is still alive. Kevin to the ceiling, Badger's there for the follow-up, he goes for the shot, but Mickey again with the 4th save of the game. He's been doing everything for his team. This is still alive. How in the world do Android still have a chance? How do they have boost? This is off the bubble. Kevin with the follow. Bastinos clears it out as Otakus take game 2. A fantastic defensive performance from them. Now we have a series on our hands, Babs.
I feel like whenever I start ranting or talking, Android's like, just be quiet, Marvs. Let us do our magic. And that's exactly what they did. They almost got it, unfortunately. But that was, I think it was 25 seconds in the air. That was absolutely nuts by Android. I think that still shows that they're super dominant, even though they didn't get this one. Otaku's, now that they're stepping up, they should be scared because having a 0-second goal like that, almost happening, but not happening, not just happening yet, must be really, really heart racing for both teams. Could be really anyone's. Android really showing that they can still win. They're still dominant attackers, even if they're on the losing side.
They are absolutely here to compete. They're here to prove that just because they got 6th in league play, that doesn't mean that they are just cast aside. They will prove to the league that they deserve to be at the very tippy top, that they deserve to even get to that grand final and potentially win it. They will have to pull off a miracle, basically. It is a Cinderella run from them in all senses. But They will not give up. They will not give in by the looks of things. They will have to win at least 2 more games to get through this. There was a point that you made about the destruction play, the demoing, the bumping coming through, being the only reason that Android actually managed to get past Otakus in that last game, as a pinch goes wanting across the left-hand side. But sometimes for some teams, that's their whole thing, that they go for disruption plays, they go for boost stealing, demoing, and bumping to throw off the opponent's rotation. But if you don't do it all that often, and then you pull it out at random, just when your opponent completely doesn't expect it, it can be so deadly, so effective, because they're just not ready for it whatsoever.
Of course, I know there's a very certain challenger team that really likes to go for demos. If anyone knows who it is, I would really, that would be really funny. But demos are an amazing thing. But I don't think they can be completely relied on because they are quite risky. But when Badger did it, it was absolutely amazing. And also a bump that happened, allowing Kebabs to get the goal. A bump onto Mickey Boy by one of the Android 16 players. Really messed him up a bit. Kevin, I think, getting a very slight missed trajectory for Mickey Boy to turn. He couldn't turn in time, allowing that goal to happen. These disruption plays for Android 16 are actually getting really effective and really consistent as well.
Mickey wasn't the only mistake there. He did drive a little wide of the post, expecting a harder shot from Kebabs than was given. But that wasn't the only bump on the play. Drum Hunter actually bumped his teammate Stinos off the ball all the way back up the other side of the field, which started that play out of the midfield. So they'll need to sort out those communication and positioning errors very, very quickly if they're looking to take this game 3. Another shot from Kevin straight down the middle, and Drum Hunter is equal to it as he kicks back across the field. It is still in the mid, still open for Android, but no one wants to commit. As Badger was the third man, Stinos goes for the shot. Kebabs gets bumped out, but Kevin is there. His teammates are keeping him in this one. He doesn't want to be the one to make that mistake and bring this back to a 1-1 game, as it's still just quite as close as the first 2 games. I don't think that either of these teams will go on an insane scoring run and completely blow out their opponents, though.
Definitely not. I feel like this might go to never mind. I think Kebabs just they always Android 16. They really like denying whatever I want to say. I was about to say I kind of sense the game 5 because all these games are getting so close, but Kebabs getting two early goals, and that must be not be looking good for the Otakus. You might just be a bit nervous. You do not want to get into a situation where the next game would decide your fate after losing this one, but I definitely have a lot of faith in the Otakus. I can definitely give Android 16 a run for their money, but the more I talk, the more I'm getting cursed, as Badger denies exactly what I'm saying. Being 3-0 up so early must be a very not nice thing for the Otakus. I'm not sure how else to describe it, Vector.
Well, I describe it as us casters having so much power we don't know what to do with it. We don't know our own strengths, Miles. When we talk, things happen, and things are happening for Android 16 right now. Kebabs with 2 goals to his name. He had an absolute chicken sizzler of a shot, a brilliant shish kebab play from him. And then Badger to finish it off of his assist onto the backboard as well. I said, specifically me, said that I didn't expect either of these teams to blow out their opponent, but Android are doing that right now. 3-0 lead in game 3 is going to be a very, very big mental roadblock for Otakus to have to deal with, as Mickey managed to get this off the backboard. But the rotation wasn't there. All 3 of them pushed up the field with very little boost in it. I know they need to throw everything at the wall right now and see what sticks. They are 3 goals down with 2 minutes left to go. And with such a strong midfield from Android, it's going to be hard to find those, so they have to risk everything in order to do it.
Uh-oh, we almost see another flip reset play coming from Kebabs. Clearly one of the most, a very mechanical player in the major tier. He also has loads of shots, and he has more points than the Otakus combined, if my maths is correct. But that doesn't really stop the Otakus. I know that all of them, I think, if they work as a team, just one solo player would be nothing against them. But it's looking very imminent for the Android to take this next game, and through the Otakus, that's really not what you want. With 1 minute coming down, they had a lot of time to get a goal for the Otakus, but unfortunately nothing so far as Android 16 continue to put on the pressure. They're not really playing extremely defensive. They're just willing to stack goals on goals, which I guess is an interesting idea, but I would not go for something too risky if I was Android 16, because I know the Otakus are able to score, but they have not been able to do that during this match factor.
As every second flies by, they are less and less able to bring this one back. A 3-goal deficit is crushing for any team to come back from. They could make it 4 as Kevin flicks it over Drum Hunter. It's off the crossbar, but it's followed up by Badger as Mickey couldn't get there. More rotational and positional errors from Otakus. Stinos tries to do something, but there's always an Android player. Wait, I don't know what happened in that replay. Did Mickey get a touch or not? That was one of the worst ghost hits I've ever seen.
I think Mickey was just trying to go for a crossbar pinch to clear, but unfortunately it did not work out for him, allowing Android 16 to stack another goal, and I think almost cements their win in this match. It will be 2-1 to them in the series-wise, but maybe Otakus can create an upset. We have seen them do it before. We haven't seen the Otakus we've seen last match in this one, and that's something that we all know that they can do well. Drum Hunter is an amazing player, so is Stinos, and so is Mickey Boy. But they're right at the moment. They're not equivalent to the Android 16 side.
Equivalent they are not, as a very convincing Game 3 win from Android, taking that one 4-0 and putting themselves, as you said, 2-1 up in the series. We are on match point. One more win, Android find themselves in the grand final, and Otakus will be going home, but they have 2 more chances to potentially bring this back. I won a Game 5. I hoped for a Game 5 at the very beginning. I thought that Android could take it just based on form, and it is looking that way so far. But Otakus have got it in their locker. I think they can do this. I think they just need to believe in themselves a lot more. That confidence isn't quite there that they had in Game 2. They had to do a lot of defense, and Android have clearly found their way through that as Otakus tried to push back out of their own half. It almost seems like a double-edged sword in that the more confident they get, the further out they go, the higher the line their line is through midfield, and that's what's leaving so much space on that back line for Android to exploit and to steal boost and all those things. I think what Otaku's best plan is right now is stay back, be conservative, wait until you get an opportunity and kick it up the field, go for those counter plays, because you know that Android's going to be as aggressive as possible. They're going to push for those crazy plays, those off the backboard stuff, the 2-man offense, and throwing that 3rd man into it to try and score something, anything. So they just need to be a bit more patient, a bit more controlled, a bit more disciplined, and I think they could bring this one to Game 5.
Definitely, but if you just look at based on the games winning, the winners of the game, each game, it's been Android Otakus. I think it might just be ping-ponging back and forth, but if that is the case, then Android would be the one to win Game 5, but both teams are able to take it here, but it looks like Android have just been so dominant when they won that it might just be too much for the Otakus, but if they have the confidence, they should be able to definitely make an upset here. There's no doubt about it. The Otaku's side is filled with many great players and a very good team, and finished higher than Android 16 in league play, but it does not really look like it here, not at all.
At this point, I think we just have to throw league play out the window. Blaze were first seed and they didn't win a single match, not a single series. They did manage to take a few games, but you cannot call league play. You can say, oh, they're in form and they played well, but I'm going to keep saying it. This is not league play. This is playoff Rocket League. It is a completely different beast, and if you do not manage to tame it quickly and effectively, you will find yourself in a situation like Otakus are right now. Match point against Android 16, who, I mean, not many people expected them to get this far, but they've managed to do it. They've slogged through some difficult series. I imagine they did manage to take a sweep over Flip Reset and a 3-1 over Blaze, but that just shows how much they care about this, how much they're willing to fight to get to this stage, and they're showing even more of that prowess right now. They haven't quite scored 2 minutes into this game yet. I think Otakus are taking some of my advice on board, being a little bit more defensive, being a little bit more cautious on the back line, playing like they have something to lose, because they certainly do. But we'll see if Android can break the deadlock once again.
Yeah, both teams, I feel, are playing a bit slower. I guess a bit more hesitation, and that's definitely acceptable. That's normal. That's all right for them because there's probably a lot of nerves. You have a lot of people in the audience watching you, and the otakus know that any misstep can probably result in their fate because Android, if otakus don't perform, if they do not perform as they had in the game 2, for example, then it might be all over for them. Android, I think, are much more confident here, and I think confidence is key, especially in playoffs. If you're all hesitant, you might just not be able to get the plays that you usually normally do, and that's definitely been a force to be reckoned with. A very interesting aspect that we all probably dread to have the nerves intercept your style of gameplay. But I definitely feel that the Otakus have really done really well this game, haven't they, Vector? Not having a goal conceded yet, as Kebabs almost goes for a crazy double tap. Vector, do you think Otakus are able to manage to get a goal ahead?
I mean, they're gonna have to, or they're going home. That's about as simple as it gets. They have to win this game, and they have to win the next one, or it's over. And their defense has been strong, but I've been seeing some odd movement, some odd positioning from attackers. They seem to be falling on top of one another and getting in each other's way. Possibly just going for boost, trying to get into position. Their communication doesn't seem like it's there. They don't have much understanding on that back line at the moment. They're managing to hold off this Android side, who may not be expecting Otakus to play like this. They might be thinking, oh, they're probably going to try and push us, and then we'll counter. We'll throw them off and take them in the midfield. But it's going a completely different way here. A minute left to go, but a shot here straight from Kevin. That was off target. That was crossbar and out, but Mickey puts it down into the net. They finally break the deadlock with 50 seconds to go, and this is the worst possible position that Otakus could be left in right now.
Oh my, I feel really, that's an absolute dagger shoved into the heart. Mickey Boy is the heart. He is the GM of the franchise, and Badger getting another one in. That's very sad. I think that all comes apart because I guess that confidence was completely shattered there after the first goal, allowing the second one to just go in. That's really, really unfortunate for the Otakus, but 46 seconds, that's extremely possible, but given the form Android 16 are in right now, it might not look that much, right, Recta?
I mean, I was about to say that a kickoff goal would be crucial for them to even have a chance of bringing this one back. This one might go in, but Badger just managed to keep it away off Mickey Boy's shot, but it's straight back up the field already. Again, Mickey tries to pass to Jerome. He didn't quite expect it. It was a little too much pace for him as Cabals put this back up the field. Badger's there. It's off the backboard. Mickey didn't even need to touch it. Estinos has time, possession, pass down to Drummond, who goes for the shot. It's in! It's into the left-hand side, past Kevin, the last defender. They've given themselves a lifeline here in Game 4, and I mean, I want to say that they can do this, but they haven't proven to me. They haven't shown that they can. And they seem like they're having a lot of fun just looking at the team chats. That they wanted a forfeit for this game after the Rule 1 break, but another one from Badger. Aerial play, Stinos kicks it to the corner, but this is off target from Kebabs. They have one last chance. He steals the boost, but Stinos has time, possession. Mickey Boy across to the right. This is the last chance. It's up to the back ball. Kebabs gets the touch. Drumhunter has to keep this alive, or they are out of the playoffs. It's back to the midfield, but Kebabs is there. This is going to fall on the Otaku side of the field, and Android, number 16, are going to the grand final.
Oh my, that was an absolute really close one. I think Otakus are planning to do something that the Android almost did to them earlier in Game 2, but I saw that amazing play from Stinos doing an epic aerial over to Drumhunt who got that one in, and it really made me think that this was the Otakus that if they showed up, if they played like that in Game 1, they probably would have had Android. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and Otaku showed up a bit too little too late. Really unfortunate by them, especially with that Rule 1 break kind of leaving people a bit salty, because the Rule 1 break is something you do not really want to see. But even in these playoff conditions, it's very interesting debate to have.
The rules are sacred in Rocket League. They're unwritten, but everyone knows them and everyone must abide by them. Unfortunately, Android managed to get through despite the Rule 1 break there. They played their hearts out as Otakus did as well, but they just did not have enough on the day. The Cinderella story continues for Android 16. They're playing out of their skin right now, and we all know how dangerous kebabs can be when they're on form, and they are on form right now. They have proved it 3 times on the bounce now. They will have to win a bracket reset against, if I'm not mistaken, Rhapsody. I'm remembering the team names. I definitely am. I promise. But just based on that performance, I mean, Otakus did manage to take a game off of them, but it was when they were being completely defensive, when they were only going on the counter, and they had to get beaten by a disruption play, a demo on the back line. But Rhapsody doesn't play like that. They play a much more expansive, open, midfield-centric style of game. And with Android having to go up against that now, do you think it's going to be a bit of a stalemate where there are very few goals, or do you think it's going to be completely open-ended? There's going to be goals going in left and right, but like we won't even be able to talk for the amount of goals that go in.
That'll be the exciting game for the future. But Android, I think they really have to probably do something else differently. As you said, Rhapsody is very expensive team, but I think the confidence Android has making it all the way through the lower bracket as the sixth seed, going against a team that was did incredibly much higher than them and a much more fierce team. I know a lot of people are having their money on Rhapsody to win it all, but I think they might be a bit too confident. Rhapsody is, and also the people who are betting on them, as we see Android 16 go absolutely ham on Otakus and getting this victory and really not showing a lot of weakness at all through all of the lower bracket, non-stop tearing through teams, and hopefully that can continue and we can see an amazing game 7 in the grand finals.
I'm hoping to see that as well. Maybe not a game 14 if they do manage to get the bracket reset in a game, best of 7 there. And an interesting thing to note though is that Rhapsody only just beat Flip Reset in an unbelievable back and forth game 5 best of 5 series there, and Android swept Flip Reset in a 3-0. So just looking at that, Android have a much better chance against Rhapsody. It is of course a best of 7 series. You have to win 4, which is a little bit different even to a best of 5. It's just a battle of attrition at that point, and we'll have to see which of those teams manage to come out on top. But we are going to take a bit of an extended break before that matchup. I'll be casting over that series once it comes around, and Fane will be joining me as well. But thank you so very much to you, Mabs. Your first time in the RSC casting booth in the playoffs, the lower final of the major playoffs, is quite a spot to start in. You did very, very well to say that that's basically your first time in doing it as well.
Appreciate it, Vector. I've honestly just starting to get into casting, and I love it more and more every single time I do it. It's been a pleasure to cast with you, and we will see you in the grand finals after this break.